Today, we are diving right into the world of running. If you've ever felt that little pull to just lace up a pair of shoes and go, then this is for you. We're going to break down a really practical guide to starting a running routine safely, sustainably, and turn that curiosity into some real confidence strides. So, running has this fascinating paradox, right? On one hand, it can be one of the absolute best exercises you can pick up. But on the other, it can be one of the toughest. And really, understanding this contradiction is the key to figuring out if it's the right fit for you. So let's just look at the two sides of the coin. On the one hand, its accessibility is just incredible. You don't need a gym membership, you don't need a ton of fancy gear. But on the other hand, that risk of injury can be pretty intimidating. And here's the number that honestly stops a lot of people before they even start. Research shows that every single year, somewhere between 50 and 85% of all recreational runners will get injured. Now, I know that's a huge range, but the message is crystal clear. The risk is real. So, what do we do with a number like that? Well, we don't give up. We get smart. We're here to give you the tools to manage that risk intelligently so you can actually enjoy all the good stuff without becoming just another statistic. Because if running does call to you, the rewards go way beyond just cardio. I mean, studies on new runners show these huge boosts in mental well-being and less anxiety. And then there's this really powerful feeling of self-efficacy. That deep, simple satisfaction you get from seeing yourself do something you once thought was way too hard. So, ultimately, it all just boils down to the purpose running serves in your life. Is it for mental clarity? The thrill of maybe doing a race someday? Or is it just the simple act of getting out the door? If you can answer that, you found your why. And that means you're ready to start. Okay, so you found your why. Awesome. Now let's get practical. This is your straightforward, no-nonsense action plan for your first 10 runs. It's all designed to build a foundation that you can really rely on. All right, before you take a single step, you need to get this one idea in your head. It's probably the most important principle in all of endurance training, whether you're a beginner or a world champion, the 80-20 rule. The single biggest mistake new runners make is trying to go hard all the time. The pros don't do it, and you shouldn't either. So, the vast majority of your training, that huge 80% slice right there, it should be at a low conversational intensity. I mean, easy enough that you could chat with a friend. This is what builds your aerobic base, it strengthens your tissues, and it prevents injury. That tiny little 20% of hard effort, we'll worry about that much, much later. And this is it. This is your very first run. And actually, every run for the next few weeks is going to follow these 4 simple steps. A little walk to warm up, your 20 minutes of run-walk intervals, a little walk to cool down, and then a few simple stretches at the end. That's the whole thing. Okay, so after a few runs, you're going to notice your body starts talking to you. Sometimes it whispers and sometimes it shouts. This next part is all about learning to understand its language so you can respond in the right way. This right here. This might be the single most critical skill for a new runner. It's telling the difference between discomfort and actual pain. See, discomfort is normal. That's heavy breathing, tired legs. You can run through that. But pain is different. It's sharp, it's in one spot, and it actually changes how you move. That's a stop sign. That is a signal you have to respect. Always. So let's talk about a super common one. You're a few runs in and you start to feel this sharp, really specific pain on the outside of your knee. What is your body trying to tell you? Well, this often points to something called IT band syndrome, which is a classic overuse injury. And notice the solution here isn't to just push through it. It's to listen and adapt. You ease back on the running, you work on those tight muscles, and you strengthen the weak ones, especially in your hips. All right, here's another one that just plagues new runners. That aching, sometimes sharp pain right along the front of your lower leg. This is almost certainly shin splints, and really, it's your body's clearest way of yelling, "Whoa, that was too much, too soon." And the solution? You listen. You back off a bit, maybe find some softer ground to run on. You just let your body catch up to your enthusiasm. Okay, so we've talked about the physical pains, but what about the mental side of things? Because I can guarantee you that initial wave of excitement, it will fade, and that's totally normal. On those days when you just don't feel like it, that's when you have to dig deep and reconnect with your reason for starting this whole thing. That why is what gets you out the door. So you've done it. You've made it through your first 10 runs. You're learning to listen to your body, you're managing those first hurdles. What comes next? How do you turn this little experiment into a habit that actually lasts?
Your next goal is actually really clear and simple. The main focus is to just keep building that aerobic base. And you do that by gradually, and I mean gradually, working your way up to running for 30 minutes straight, all at that easy conversational pace we talked about. This is the foundation that all of your future running goals will be built on.
And once you have that 30-minute foundation, the path just opens up. I mean, maybe you decide to keep running just for the mental peace it brings you. Or maybe you get a little curious about speed and start doing things like strides. Maybe you even sign up for a 5K or find a group to run with. It stops being a program and it starts becoming your practice. And that brings us right back to where we started, doesn't it? All the schedules, the stats, the advice about injuries, they're just tools. The real lasting power comes from how you use those tools to build something that's meaningful to you. The question isn't just, can you run? It's, why will you run? And the answer to that, well, that's your true finish line.